What's up, freight brokers? Hope you're well out there today. Hope your families are well. Today I want to talk to you about cargo insurance, right? At some point you'll come to a decision to say, hey, am I going to get cargo insurance or am I not going to get it, right? Because it's not required as freight brokers that we have cargo insurance. We can decide to have contingent cargo insurance or we can decide not to have it. And it comes down to a decision whether you want to manage that as part of your overhead. Or you decide to say, hey, you know what? I'm going to take that off. I'm not going to get cargo insurance and I'm going to go and find out from customers what's really required, because you really don't know what the requirement is until you start engaging customers, right? So what I'm going to do today is tell you how I approach cargo insurance. And then I'm going to give you 3 ways that you can approach cargo insurance and you can decide which is the best for you and your business. So come on inside, sit back, relax. Let's get down into the business. All right, so first let's talk about what contingent cargo insurance is. Because I was saying cargo insurance earlier, but I'm meaning contingent cargo insurance. That's the type of insurance you'll be getting as a freight broker. Now, if you decide to get the insurance. But contingent cargo insurance is just what it says. Remember, the operative word here is contingent, subject to a certain thing happening, right? So let's just say, under normal circumstances, if a shipper files a claim against a carrier for damage to the load or something, then hopefully everything goes between the shipper and the carrier. It has nothing to do with the freight broker. Hopefully that's how it works. But let's just say, for example, the carrier decided that they weren't going to pay the shipper for that particular load. They filed a claim and now the carrier is coming back saying they're not going to pay. Or maybe they can't pay. Maybe they can't afford to pay, right? Maybe they don't have insurance. Maybe the insurance lapsed, whatever it may be. Now, your insurance contingency, because now the carrier is not going to pay or he can't pay, you have contingent cargo insurance because that shipper could come and file a claim against you. Because remember, at the end of the day, the shipper oftentimes requests that we, as a freight broker, have contingent cargo insurance because his relationship is with you, not necessarily with the carrier. So he wants you to have contingent cargo insurance in a lot of instances so that in the event the carrier doesn't pay, he can come back and file a claim against your insurance. It's all about the shipper being able to protect himself, protect his cargo. And this is why many shippers will require freight brokers to have, at minimum, $100,000 of contingent cargo insurance. So, although the FMCSA says you do not have to have contingent cargo insurance, shippers will not work with you a lot of times if you don't secure at least a minimum of $100,000 of contingent cargo insurance. But there are shippers who have never asked me for a COI, and that's a certificate of insurance to prove that I have the $100,000 of contingent cargo insurance. They've never asked me for that. So there are shippers out there who don't require that you have insurance. But that doesn't mean that they won't file a claim against you if something happens. So if you happen to get a claim filed against you and you don't have insurance, then that could be on you. Personally, I think it's in the best interest of most all freight brokers to have contingent cargo insurance. I'm in the camp that I'd rather have it and not need it than need it and not have it. Because we know how that could turn out if you needed it and you didn't have it. But most all freight brokers, reputable freight brokers, will have $100,000 of CCI. So I figure that's a cost that I just accept as being part of my overhead. These are some of the costs that just comes with managing a freight broker business, and CCI is one of those costs that I readily accept. So on day 1 of my business, I started with $100,000 of contingent cargo insurance. The second way of approaching cargo insurance is saying, hey, I'm not going to get any insurance right now. I'm going to go ahead and start approaching customers first. Once I engage customers, they'll let me know whether or not I need the insurance. And some customers, again, are not going to require that you have it. So you can decide then whether or not you'll carry insurance based on whether or not the customer requires it. But still know that customer could still file an insurance claim against you, and then you could be out on the island alone. So I'm not sure that you want to do that. The third way of looking at cargo insurance is saying, hey, I'm not going to get any insurance policy. That way I don't have to start paying for any insurance right now. But when it comes time for me to start moving loads, I'll get insurance on a per load basis instead of having a policy. That way you're only paying for insurance when you actually move loads. I think you might be able to go through Truck Stop to get that type of insurance. Now, I also think it's important to understand that the Carmack Amendment says that if cargo damage occurs, cargo loss occurs, that's between the shipper and the carrier. It doesn't have anything to do with the freight broker. But now that's in a perfect world. And we don't live in a perfect world. We certainly aren't in a perfect world within the trucking industry. So I think it will be in your best interest to have insurance. It's kind of like car insurance. You can pay for it every single month for 2 or 3 years, but you don't need it until an accident happens. So until then, you're just paying for it, right? But that's a cost that you accept. That's a requirement in the insurance world as far as cars are concerned. It's not a requirement on this side, but whether it is or it's not, it might be in your best interest to have it just for the protection that it provides. So that's what I wanted to share with you today. I certainly hope this information has been helpful. If you're interested in learning more about the freight broker business, I'll leave a free link in the description. It's my 5-video series, and it's titled How the Load Movement Process Works. It'll give you a chance to come into the office with me, watch me as I move loads, talk to shippers and carriers, to give you a better understanding of how this business works before you come into it. And then if you're interested in learning more about transitioning from a part-time freight broker to a full-time freight broker, I'll leave a free video right here. So until the next time, I wish you the very best in your life and business. See you at the top, because the bottom is much too crowded.